Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. We're so excited to
Yes,
be here and to
we
be talking
are.
about this.
Welcome to the announcement of the Cozy Reader Book Club 2026 book titles.
Great. I see Shell. Shell's here. Elizabeth's here.
Mhm.
We have Karen from Australia.
Hi,
That's
Karen.
exciting. Oh my goodness.
What
I was
time is
going to
it
say
there in
which
Australia? It
yeah,
must be
I
morning
think
there,
it's
right?
yeah, later in
Yeah.
the morning, I think.
Deja's here. Jacqueline's here. Stephanie's here. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We're
Great.
so glad.
Great.
Yay.
Very
If you
excited.
are new to the Cozy Reader Book Club, could you put that in the chat? We'd love to know if we have new people here who haven't joined us yet, or maybe you joined, but you haven't actually been able to make it to a discussion. We would love to know that and that you're here and you're excited about next year. So, oh, Deborah's here from Australia also. Oh, we've got Aussie representation. Lovely.
Yes. And it's 11 a.m. there.
Okay.
So
All right. Well,
so
that's a
that's
pretty
good.
good
Oh, we
time.
have a few new people.
And we
Mina,
do.
Monica,
Mhm.
Teresa. Amy,
Amy.
exciting. There's Ginny.
Oh, yeah. Nina's here. Hi, Jenny. Stephanie's here. She's new. Though Stephanie and I've chatted. I know we've chatted on my channel, in my comments, so, and on Instagram. Diane's new. Oh, Melissa's here. Hi, Melissa. All right.
Great. Denise, Maddie, Dina. Great.
Well, Rebecca, do you want to kind of lead us in and talk
Sure.
we're going to just talk briefly about the Cozy Reader Book Club for those of you who are new, and then we will dive into the books for 2026.
So the tagline is about like-minded, cozy readers who kind of like quiet, life-affirming books. And that's really our goal. And we try to keep the book club to reflect that. So while we do monthly meetings to discuss whatever books we've read, we do really kind of keep it low key. So if you have something to say, you can jump in and say it. If you don't want to have your camera on, you don't need to. If you want to just put something in the chat, sometimes people will just email us and say, hey, I read it and this is what I thought. So really kind of keeping it calm and low key. But I will say our discussions can get lively. We start out every book club with thumbs up, thumbs down, or, mediocre. And it runs the gamut of, whether people loved it or didn't like it. And so amazingly, the books we choose that we do try to keep as cozy as possible can elicit some kind of strong reactions from people. Something that Jen and I talk about a lot is the idea of what is cozy is different for each person. We all have our different triggers and, things that, really we're not, don't think is cozy. But we do try to do research and really think about the information that's available and making the determination on what we're putting on our list for what books we're going to choose. So sometimes we run into things where people are like, that is not cozy. But we do really try to
Yes.
keep it as cozy as we
Anti-meme.
can. Yeah, right. Well, and Barbara Pym too.
Oh,
That
and
one
Barbara
was,
Pym too.
I mean,
Yes.
I wasn't expecting, but that one was a
Mhm.
little,
Yeah.
people were like, it was a bit
Yes.
controversial, but
It was a bit controversial. So,
but it is, low key. So
yes. And I think most of you who are here already know, but we have started a Substack account. Just the reason we started that was mostly to help us keep up with the email list because so many of you wanted to join, which is so wonderful. We are so excited to have so many members of the Cozy Reader Book Club, but it did just start to get a little daunting in terms of getting everybody added to the email list, making sure we didn't miss someone's email. So now people can go directly to Substack, sign up, and you're automatically added to our email list. And so you will get information from us. You will get the monthly link to Google Meet, and we don't have to worry that we've missed somebody. So that is why we've set up Substack. And also it just gives us a place to house all our book lists, to put out information for you guys. And, certainly if you want to chat about the books there is a place to do that. And, we certainly welcome that because, creating cozy bookish community is what Rebecca and I are all about. So we hope that the Substack will just add add a little bit something extra to the experience as well as the monthly discussions. So, but
that was what I was going to say too, is with the email, we were the only ones who were seeing the emails. We were kind of being careful, you don't want to like blast email and everybody can see each other's emails. So we were protective about that information. But now with the Substack, if you put a comment in, then other people in the club can comment, and it creates a connection among everybody in the group too, not just to Jen or to me. So we really are hoping to have a very strong and rich community with this club.
Yes. And we want it to feel like a book club where everybody's an equal member, right? So it's not just Jen and Rebecca's book club. It should be everybody's book club. And so we hope you all feel that way and can use the Substack as a way to connect with one another as well.
And I think too, to Jen's point about it being everyone's book club, I will say the books that we've chosen, we send out a poll in early autumn to get input from everyone. And we have a spreadsheet. We're kind of going through it and figuring out, again, with that cozy, ruler, is it, does it fit into that, and doing a lot of research. But the book choices, I think 100% of the book choices that we have, someone within the club recommended that. And so we really do try to make this be everyone's book club and have input on all of that. So
yes. And round of applause for Rebecca, because she spent so much time culling through all of the responses to the poll.
It's all on my shoulders if it's not cozy.
No, but you did the initial making of the spreadsheet for us to look through.
True.
We did it together in terms of picking all of the books, but you did spend a lot of time making that list together and going through both last year's poll and this year's poll, and looking at all of the titles and authors. And so we really took that into consideration when we
I do love spreadsheets. I know that's kind of nerdy to say, but that it is my love language. But also, I mean, Jen, you did so much on getting the Substack started and having the communication. So, I really appreciate that too. So it's a wonderful partnership.
It is. It is.
So.
All right. Are we good on logistics? And certainly if anyone has any questions, put those in the chat and we will answer those, probably after we go through all of the books. So if you have any questions or anything comes up while we're chatting about the books, please put that in the chat. Actually, real quick. Substack. Yeah, Substack is a website and an app. So you can let me go. I will put the Substack link in the chat. So if you want to go directly there and sign up for our Substack, you can do that. And yes, so it is both. So you don't need to have the app. If you don't want it, you can just use it as a website. It's really up to you. So,
and if once you put your email in, it'll email you directly. So then you can just, subvert the system that way too.
Right. All right. Rebecca, you want to start us off with January's pick?
I do. I'm excited. I know some people here recommended it. So for January, I feel like we should have a drum roll. We are going to kick the year off with, it's going to be backwards, Penny Plain by
No, it's not backwards. It's good.
Okay, great. Penny Plain by O. Douglas. So I have my notes here. If you guys see me looking down, I have notes. So this was published in 1920. It is on Kindle. So Jen has said she has a huge bundle of O. Douglas's works that are an ebook version that she got on Kindle for not very much money. You can also find used copies. This one, I told Jen, I got this one used. It is so teeny tiny. I love it so much. So O. Douglas is the pen name for Anna Masterson Buchan. She is Scottish. And this is the first book in the Priorsford trilogy. And in this, we follow Jean Jardine. She is raising her siblings in Scotland. It is a very, I think, character-driven novel. We have a little bit of romance. We have obviously some family life because Jean is raising her siblings. We have that slice of life, like small Scottish town aspect to this. And my understanding in the research is that it has very like heartwarming depictions in this of the landscape and the town and the family. There also is Scottish dialect in here. So you really get that sort of immersive experience. And I know in a couple of our book club meetings, we talked about like cozy and what would be cozy. And oh, that's nice to know, Elizabeth. And everybody kept saying, "Oh, Douglas." Oh, Douglas is, I mean, the epitome of a cozy author. So we decided to choose Penny Plain to bring in 2026. So good to know that Blackwell's has a lovely new hardback version of Penny Plain.
Mhm.
So Blackwell's is a UK bookseller, and currently they do not charge shipping to ship to the United States. So
Mhm.
we love
And from what
Blackwell's.
I've underheard, from what I understand from a friend who has recently ordered from Blackwell's, there's no additional tariffs or duties due by the recipient when you receive the books. So it's all, they've
What you see
all,
is what you.
what you see is what you get. So what you're paying for on Blackwell's, that is what you're paying. You don't have to pay extra when the books arrive. So fingers
Great.
crossed that that remains to be true. So.
Great. Yeah, Melissa says, yeah, it's totally vintage. I mean, it smells so vintage. But I wrestle with the book collector in me. So when I get to do this where I'm like, oh, I'm going to collect it and read it, it's like the perfect marriage. So,
Absolutely.
so
Okay. All right. So that's January's pick. And for February, to go along with Valentine's Day and the month sort of romance and love, we are going to read The Talisman Ring by Georgette Heyer. And this is, Georgette Heyer is known for her Regency romance novels. And this one was first published in 1936. It is actually set in 1793, so during the Georgian period. And it's set in Sussex, which was where Heyer was living at the time that she wrote this. So, and it's described as part comedy, part detective story in period costume. So I think it's got a little bit of romance and a little bit of maybe a bit of a mystery, which Georgette Heyer also wrote detective novels as well. So along the lines of Agatha Christie. So it sounds like maybe this is a lovely little mashup of those two. And the plot of this is that there is a betrothal between two, I think they're cousins, based on their grandfather's dying wish. And the young woman doesn't really want to marry her older cousin. And there is also another young heir to the grandfather, the family fortune. He's on the run because he's been accused of murder over a family heirloom. And there are some smugglers involved. So it sounds like
yes.
there's lots of adventure and excitement, and some love too. And I think we have like two love stories happening in this. And yes, I'm very much excited. I haven't read a Georgette Heyer romance novel in quite a few years. So I'm very much looking forward to reading The Talisman Ring for February.
Great. You made it sound so exciting. I love the smuggler aspect of it.
Yes, right. I know.
So,
Something about it when I was like reading the description of it reminds me of the Scarlet Pimpernel. Just something,
mm,
I don't know, was just kind of like giving me that vibe. So, which I hope, because I read the Scarlet Pimpernel early this year and I loved it. So I'm excited for this.
great.
Yes.
Great. Okay. All right. So next we are into March, and we went with The Little Gray Men by Phoebe. And so this was published in 1912. You can find used copies, And you can also find this on Kindle as well. So one thing to note, I don't know, Jen, if yours does, but some editions, mine does not, but some editions have an introduction by Julie Andrews. So it's got her seal of approval. So I thought that was interesting to learn. So this actually was illustrated by Dennis Watkins Pitchford, and it turns out that Dennis Watkins Pitchford is actually the author. So even though it says it's by BB, it's actually him. There's also music I noticed in here. Just a lovely book. So this is a children's fantasy. So, you know, we love to support middle grade March in our book club. So this would fit for middle grade March. And this is the story of the last 4 gnomes in Britain. And I believe they're brothers. And one of them, Cloudberry, goes missing. And so the other 3 here take us on an adventure to go and find him. So the author is known as a naturalist. So I think there are a lot of depictions in here of, you know, animals and plants, you know, the flora, fauna, and all of the kind of environments that the gnomes see and are involved in. So just lovely. I know, again, I heard about this in our Cozy Reader Book Club from, I think Barbara mentioned it. And I was like, that sounds fantastic. So then when I saw it on the list in the poll, we thought this would be a great middle grade March. And I love fantasy. So.
And isn't there a slightly foxed edition of this as well? Is it slightly foxed?
I'm not sure.
Does anybody know in the comments? Elizabeth, do you know?
Elizabeth Wright would know.
I feel like.
So Mina says she never reads.
If you want a new copy of it, I think Slightly Foxed has.
Yeah, I can look it up. Mina says she never reads middle grade or fantasy. So Elizabeth says yes, it is.
Yeah. So perfect.
So that's the fun in middle grade March is and you know, there is the C.S. Lewis quote that I'll never get right about, you know, a book that is, you know, meant for children is also especially meant for adults too. I don't know the quote exactly.
If a children's book can't be read by adults, it isn't a good book or something along those lines. So
correct.
Like, you know, it's not worth reading if adults can't read it. It should be be readable for everyone or it's not a good book.
Right.
So
great.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is our March pick. And then moving on to April. And April's pick, I have 2 copies of April's pick. I'll show you my smaller copy first, and then I'll show you my pretty big copy. Is we are going to read Lark Rise by Flora Thompson. And I got a little bit of a glare here, but we're only going to read Lark Rise. So Lark Rise to Candleford, which is the edition that both Rebecca and I have, actually features Lark Rise, Over to Candleford, and Candleford Green. So there are 3 books in this trilogy. We are only going to read book 1 because it's quite thick. And we just thought just reading the first book in the trilogy would be enough for 1 month. And then certainly if you are inspired to, you can go on and read books 2 and 3. That's what I plan to do. But if you don't know Lark Rise or Lark Rise to Candleford by Flora Thompson, this is a semi-autobiographical novel. And it was first published in 1939. And this novel follows the childhood of Laura Timmins. And she lives in the small rural northern Oxfordshire hamlet of Lark Rise and the surrounding countryside. And it's a part lyrical, part documentary portrait of the actual hamlet, Juniper Hill, that Flora Thompson was born in and raised in. So again, she pulled quite heavily from her own personal life and put that into these books. And so the first book in the series is about her childhood. And so that's what we're going to read. And I don't know, a month or so ago was so excited. I was at my local secondhand bookstore and I found this beautiful illustrated copy of Lark Rise to Candleford. And I mean, it's it's so beautiful. It's got the most
Oh,
lovely illustrations. So I'm so excited to have this to read from. If it gets too heavy, then I'll switch to this one. But
both of them are beautiful. I mean, the first
yes.
one you held up is
Yeah, this
also
is the Oxford
lovely.
World Classics edition.
Yeah, that's
So if
beautiful.
you're looking for, I really like their editions. The print's a little bit on the smaller side, but I love the paper they use and their covers. And so, yeah. But that is our pick for April. And then when you read the books, you should watch the lovely television show, Lark Rise to Candleford, because it is so charming and so, so very lovely.
I have not watched it. I haven't been spoiled yet for it, but I have
I've
been
watched,
tempted a couple
yeah, I've
times.
watched part of it. I think I watched the first season and part of the second season. And then I was like, nope, I gotta stop. I'm gonna read the books and then I'll go back and rewatch the whole series again from the start. So,
Right. Right.
so I have a little bit of an idea, but it's been a while since I watched it. So
And Elizabeth says Slightly Foxed also has,
perfect.
and Deborah says she also has the illustrated edition.
Lovely.
It's
Yes,
beautiful.
it is gorgeous. It was such a find. I couldn't believe I stumbled upon it on this.
Yeah. That's what it's like. The clouds open up.
Yes.
It's like, oh.
That is pure bookish serendipity. That's what I call that, because
Right.
you and I had literally just set the title list for next year, and then I find this illustration. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, the stars have aligned.
Right. Yeah. You're like looking around like, how did this happen?
Right? Exactly.
Okay. So next for May, we have The Harvester by Jean Stratton Porter. So this was published in 1911. You can find used copies, and it is also on Kindle. It looks like when I looked today for the last time, it was only $1 on Kindle today. So just to share a little bit about Jean Stratton Porter, because I think she does kind of has a common theme in her books, and that is that she is a naturalist, a bit of a conservationist, but a naturalist. And she is specifically known for Indiana's natural history, and so Midwestern woodlands. So she is probably most well known for The Girl of the Limberlost or Freckles, also all set in that Midwestern woodlands setting. And The Harvester is no different. So in this, we follow David Langston, and he harvests medicinal plants. So something that is interesting about his process is he doesn't just go and forage in the woods to find things. His idea is that he actually will kind of cultivate specific plants, almost like a forest garden for certain plants. And then he takes them, processes them, and drives them into the nearby town and sells them to doctors and households. And so that's sort of his career. So as you can tell by the cover, there is a bit of romance in this. Not a bit. This is a romance. But there is a bit of whimsy for sure, and humor. There's a character in here that I laughed out loud at. And even now, I mean, she just tickles me. So there's definitely funny characters. There's intrigue and mystery, and then what it's like to live in the forest. And you really do feel like, and I felt like, especially in this book, but with all of Jean Stratton Porter's books, you feel like you're getting an education. So it's like a science education about plants and their purposes, all kind of wrapped up in an intriguing and compelling fiction story. So I read this, I don't know, I've read it maybe a year or two ago, and I've read most of Jean Stratton Porter's, and this is my favorite by far. So I'm really excited to share this book with the book club and see what everyone thinks. And I loved it. So to me, this really is cozy. So
Yeah, I'm so excited. I've had Girl of the Limberlost on my shelf for a really long time, but then when you were talking about this one, I mean, you just sold me on it. I'm 100% in, and I'm sure then it'll make me want to read Girl of the Limberlost even more. But yeah, I'm so excited for this. I love your beautiful vintage copy too. That's just gorgeous.
yeah, I have a friend who at one point she was like, let's read all the Jean Stratton Porters every summer. And so that gives me time again with that book collector in me where I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, it is lovely. So
Yes.
I'm excited to read
Mhm.
it.
Yep. So sounds like we've got some Gene Stratton Porter fans in the comment section. And I like Monica said that she loves that these are all books she's never heard of, and though she knows some of the authors. So, and a few others agreed with her in that too. So we're glad we can bring some new titles and, to your attention. So, because I always think that that's wonderful that, we can help you find books that you may not otherwise have found that are cozy. So that's part of what we want to do in the book club as well. So
For sure.
yes. Okay, so now we are moving on to June. And I feel like, did we also read a mystery this June? I feel like I feel like June has become mystery month. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or like we
My
read,
memory's so
or
bad.
close to June, somewhere in the early, like late spring, early summer, we read a mystery this year also. But we're reading a mystery in June for this year.
We did. We read Shady Hollow.
Yes.
In
So I was
June.
like, oh, okay, so June has become mystery month here at the Cozy
Yeah.
Reader Book Club for
Right.
no reason at all.
Right.
But for
Judge
this
and Jury
year,
June. That's
yes,
what
this year we are going to read the first book in a very, very wonderful mystery series, very cozy, and that is The Number One Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. And this series is so lovely. I've read, I don't know, 15, 6. There are so many books in this series. I've read a lot of them. But this is the very first one. So if you don't know about The Number One Ladies Detective Agency, it is set in Botswana. And we follow Mama Ramatswe. She owns the first ladies detective agency in Gaborone, which is the capital of Botswana. And she starts this after the death of her father. She inherits some money. And so she's sort of become independent, and she decides she finds this book written by this man about like how to be a detective. And she sort of lives by this really lovely philosophy that this author and former detective has written about. And so she starts this detective agency, and we follow her. And she hires a secretary to work for her, and we get to learn about her as well and their friendship. And if you are looking for a truly like, it's a cozy mystery in that there's never really any murder. There's not any death or murder that happens in these books. It's all, someone's gone missing, something's lost, there's some kind of mystery. But it's relatively benign, and it's so much about the characters and their relationships. You learn so much about Botswana as a country, and it is just so charming and delightful. If you've never read it, you are in for a treat. If you have read it before, it's, I think, well worth a reread. And because I've started listening to the later books on audio, and the audiobooks are fantastic. So I think I'm going to reread it on audio this time. It's been quite a few years since I read the first book, but very excited to be back with Mama Ramatswe and go back to her origin story.
So I have also read this. I can't remember if I did the audiobook or not. When you were talking about it, I was like, maybe I did the audio. But I'm excited to reread it. And I think, I know, Jen, you this year in your channel, I think it was this year, you've really made a point about rereading is a good thing.
Yes.
They've actually done so many studies about like your neural tracts and just your brain growth, and rereading is something that is really good for us too. So I'm excited to reread this. And I think the setting is so perfect for like the warmer months where we are. It's gonna be warm. I know we have a few from Australia. You'll just be pretending that it's warm when we read this in June.
Exactly.
But I am excited for this.
And someone in the comments, Vicky, mentioned the TV series, and the TV series is also charming. So once you've read this or a few of the books in the series, the TV series is well worth checking out. I'm not sure where it's streaming these days. I had a friend who had them on DVD, and so I borrowed them and watched them that way. Remember when DVDs were all the
Yeah.
rage?
Well, at the library, maybe at the library.
Oh, at the library. I bet the library might have them. Your library
Yeah.
might have them as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good place to check. But yes, so
Yep.
a little mystery reading for June.
Right. All right. So next for July, just like the harvester was spoiled in our graphic that we shared for everybody to tell everybody about this one was also spoiled, and that is Love Comes Home by Molly Clavering. So this was published in 1938. It is on Kindle. You can find used copies, but this is the furrowed middle brow Dean Street Press publishing imprint. And so like I got this one used, and so that's the version that you're gonna, if you're getting the more modern versions used, it's going to most likely be Dean Street Press. So in this, we follow the Cranstown, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, family from Scotland. And we have Jane, who is one of the daughters, and she is living in England. And hopefully this isn't a spoiler, but all the reviews talked about this. She ends up getting, at the beginning, secretly engaged to someone in England. But she travels back home to Scotland because her sister, Love, comes home. Which I love.
Right.
I love when I
love a play on words.
Like, oh, it's like literally Love Comes Home.
Right.
And so I kind of, when I, again, read about this, I kind of saw it as like it's got the matchmaking of Emma by Jane Austen. So Love, I think, is a matchmaker or wants to be. And so we end up with people getting involved in things. There's crossed wires. One of the people involved, one of the characters is a politician and naturalist. So because you have a politician who's like involved in this, we do get insight into the politics during this time period. So anyway, it sounds like when Love Comes Home, everything gets really tangled up and chaotic. So that is Love Comes Home and by Molly Clavering. It looks like Elizabeth is excited about Molly Clavering. So
yes, and I mean, I have recently in the past year and a half become a huge fan of Molly Clavering. I have read 3 or 4 of her books now, so I'm so excited about this. If you like sort of domestic, if you like D.E. Stevenson, she and D.E. Stevenson were very good friends, and were neighbors for a long time, and they write very similarly. If you like Rosamund Pilcher, if you like those types of novels, Molly Clavering is going to be for you. She's very cozy, domestic, lots of family life, and just cozy scenes of home and beautiful descriptions of Scotland. Like she knows where she speaks, and obviously that's her home country. So I'm so looking forward to this.
And I think too, some of the comments that we got in the poll when we were just asking for input was people said, let's read, seasonally. So just like we had picked, a warm setting. I think when we looked through this, I think this one is also a, set during the summer, during a, summertime. So that was kind of the thought in putting that one for July.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely.
All right. So next we have August. And for August, we have The Fortnight in September by R.C. Sheriff. So this was originally published in 1931. And you can find it on Kindle, and you can also find it used. I got this, I think it's an older style Persephone version used.
Yes.
So R.C. Sheriff, I think, is most well known as a Hollywood screenwriter. And it sounds like when he's had always wanted to write a book, and so he'd always start it, but he would always really make it very like flowy and purple prose, and kind of get bogged down in trying to make it beautiful and literary. And so he said at one point he just decided he was going to just sit down and write plainly, just write a plain, just normal story. It was inspired by his experiences of going to the beach for a fortnight, and so it's his observations. I think it's a family that has gone. I think the children are adult children.
Two of them are.
And say that again.
Two of
Two of
them
them
are
are.
adult. Two of them, one's 19, one's 17, and then they have a younger, like a 10-year-old or something like that.
So it's like the family inner turmoil, thoughts. I think the wife doesn't really like to go to the beach, right? But she just goes anyway. And so it's just, I think, again, very cozy, 2 weeks of their inner thoughts and kind of what's going on in their life as they're all together for these 2 weeks
Mhm.
in September.
Yes.
So
Yes, and it's really kind of going to be probably the last time the 5 of them take this trip together, because the older children are, entering the adult phase of their life, and so they're gonna have their own, they're already sort of like, 1 foot out the door, like, "Oh, we're doing this family vacation," but they kinda wanna be doing other things, and, so you really get that kind of feeling of this family's last time together to do this type of a trip. It's really lovely. And it was funny because when I've read this already, I read it a couple of summers ago, and I kept like, I was like, oh my gosh, is something bad gonna happen? Like, you don't need to worry. Like, I don't want anyone else to, because I was feeling a little anxious, like maybe something bad was gonna happen. You don't need to worry. This one is purely cozy. So only good things happen in this book. So, and not a lot happens. It's really just kind of their day-to-day life on their holiday. So it's perfect for August or September
yes.
reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth said there is a good audio version of this as well. That's good to know. Always like an audiobook option.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. So, all right. So we are moving on to September. And for September, I'm actually going to try and share my screen with you here. Hang on 1 second. Because our next book, nope, that's not it. Is it? Oh no, cancel. That's not what I want to do. Let me see if I can do this, you guys. If not, we will just talk about it. But oh no, I think I can. This next book actually is 2 books, and the reason for that will become clear in just a moment. But we are going to read in September Belle Lamington and Fletcher's End by D.E. Stevenson. And this duology, I really feel like you need to read these 2 in conjunction with one another. They're not very long. And you can certainly read them within a month. I mean, probably all together, it's maybe 300-ish pages, both of them. And the reason we picked these 2 for September is because Dean Street Press is going to be republishing them, yay, hallelujah, in the summer of 2026. And so we're not sure exactly when they're coming out, so fingers crossed that they'll be out by September. But that's why we chose this month to read them. And otherwise, you can get them on Kindle. You can get them on audiobook, which the audiobooks are fantastic. That's how I read them. But just brief synopsis. This is the story of Belle Lamington. And when we first meet her in Belle Lamington, she is living in London. She has an office job. She's just kind of going about her days, and she's not, super happy with her life. But, things just as they are. And then there's some series of events that happen. There's a young man who comes into her life. Things start to kind of change at her job, and we just follow along with Belle and what is going on with her. And I'm going to say very loudly and very clearly, please do not read anything about Fletcher's End. It is a complete spoiler for Belle Lamington. If you read any synopsis anywhere of Fletcher's End, just go into it blind. Just pick these 2 up and read them. All you need to know is it is about young Belle Lamington starting off her life or not starting off her life, but her young life in London is where the first book starts. And we're going to follow her through and see what all happens to her. So I'm so excited. These are 2 of my favorite D.E. Stevenson books. I cannot recommend them highly enough, and I hope you guys all love them. And as soon as we have information about when the Dean Street Press editions are being released, we will share that with all of you as well. So we're so excited.
The last time we checked, I think it said late summer.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall, we were like trying to do sleuthing to look and see. They said late summer, so we're hopeful, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, we all read them in our Kindle, and then as a present to finishing them, we can all
Exactly.
get the physical copies for our shelves.
Exactly. So, but yes, we very excited for those two.
Yes.
And like I said, the audiobooks are also fantastic. I know they're available on Audible. I'm not sure where else you can get them, but I'm sure you can find them on other audiobook listening apps as well, maybe through your library too. So, but yeah. And that was September. And now we're going to move on to October's pick. I'm very excited about October's pick.
Me too.
Also, I personally absolutely love this book, and I know the author of it, and she is the most wonderful person. And we have picked for October to read Love and Saffron by Kim Fay. Oh, I love your edition.
Thank you.
That is beautiful. I have not seen that one.
I think it's the UK version.
Is that the UK edition? I was wondering.
I think so.
Yes. So this is a novel of friendship, food, and love, as it says, at least on my copy, it says that on the cover. But this was published in 2022, though it is set in 1960s America. And this is an epistolary novel. And we followed the friendship of two women, Joan and Imogen. And Joan is just starting out her career in Los Angeles. She is a food writer. And Imogen is middle-aged, and she has been a columnist for a local magazine, I believe. And she lives on the islands outside of Seattle. And the two of them strike up a correspondence because Joan's mother used to read Imogen's column, and Joan's mother's passed away, and Joan reaches out to Imogen just kind of to, thank her, and she had something she wanted to comment on that Imogen had written about, and it begins this friendship. This is such a wonderful book. I can't say enough good things about it. I absolutely devoured it when I first read it. And, just following these women, they're bonding initially over food, and then this friendship that just becomes such an anchor for both of them. It's really wonderful and heartwarming in that way. I will say, maybe get your tissues ready also. But it is very, very cozy. So please don't let that put you off in any way. And we have a very big surprise, because Kim Fay is going to join us in October to talk about Love and Saffron during our discussion.
Yay!
So if you put one discussion on your calendar for next year, make it that one so you can meet Kim. She is just the loveliest person. And so we're very excited that she is going to come to the Cozy Reader Book Club to talk about her book with us. So
yes, it's very exciting. When we saw this on the poll,
mm-hmm.
Jen was like, well, I actually know her, and what do you think about getting her to come? And it's like, oh, that would be so fantastic.
Yes. And she's very excited.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's exciting.
It is.
Yeah, I am excited about this, Jen. I've heard you talk about it enough that, again, when I saw it on there, I was like, oh, it's that one. So
well, everyone
we
knows,
love an epistolary novel.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone knows how much I love Lori Colwin. And actually, that's how Kim and I first connected, was over a bond, because we both are connected to Lori Colwin's child on Instagram. And so that brought us together in that way. And then it was just like this beautiful serendipity that happened. And Kim is so lovely. And if you do like Lori Colwin, or you like food writing or food memoirs, while this isn't a food memoir, it very much feels of that same ilk. And so I think you will enjoy this one very much.
Yeah, it has recipes
It does.
too in it. So
It does.
That's all.
And there's a sequel to this. So if you enjoy this, you can also read Kate and Frida by Kim Fay. And she just told me she's at work on book 3. So
exciting. You got the inside scoop.
I got the inside scoop.
That's great. Great.
Yeah.
Exciting things. Okay. So for November, we have our first nonfiction. So we've got Bookworm, a memoir of childhood reading by Lucy Mangan. So this was published in 2018. It is on Kindle, but for used book copies, I would suggest, I've searched again today, eBay is the best place to find them. They're expensive on thrift books and other places. So try eBay if you want a used copy of it. So like I said, it's our first nonfiction. And this, I think, Jen, probably, have you read this already?
No, I haven't.
Okay, great. It's great. So I think it's like a nostalgic exploration of children's literature. So the author uses her own personal framework, her own childhood, as she then incorporates the, literature that she loved as a child. And she tells stories about the authors, like the background of the information about the authors and the stories, and gives insight into their origin and, what was going on in the author's life in the stories throughout her own sort of experience of childhood of reading it. So I think there's just a lot of literary references in here. And it's like we get the inside scoop. It's like a really fun textbook about children's literature. Textbook might make it sound dry, but I think she makes it very exciting and wonderful. And you are learning, the details about different authors through this.
Right.
So,
I think she sort of intersperses her sort of memoir memories of her childhood reading with actual information about those books.
And the cover is just
it's
so lovely.
Like, just gorgeous. It's like, yeah. Is it embossed on the hardcover? Is the hardcover embossed?
Yes. Well, no, it's not embossed, but
the bookworm is embossed on here, but
it has foiling.
Yes, foil.
That's it.
Foil
there's no it's definitely raised. It's not really embossed.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's beautiful.
It is.
It's
lovely. The feel of a book, a good book.
So Shell thinks this was recommended by Miranda Mills. It probably was.
That's where I first heard about it. And Lucy Mangan has a newer memoir out as well that follows up on this one. So if you enjoy Bookworm, then you can get her new book, which I believe just came out this year. So
yeah,
which
Lynn says, yeah,
yes,
when she
which is about her older, like people were saying, read this first before you read her second memoir because it's about her reading life as she gets older. So
right. So, and we haven't done a nonfiction.
No,
thought,
I don't. Yeah, we haven't done any, have we?
No, we haven't done any nonfictions. So yes. I think it's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this one.
And I think it's an exciting one. Sometimes there can be a concern of like, oh, is nonfiction like dry and, not exciting, but I think this will be lovely.
But I think books about books are always so cozy. Like that's one of my go-tos for nonfiction. Just there's so many wonderful books about books. And I think I trust Miranda Mills will not lead us astray with this one.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So nonfiction November.
It is nonfiction November. We'll be reading this for. So if you're still participating, even though it's not officially happening anymore, but certainly I'm reading nonfiction this month and will be next year as well. So
right.
Yep. All right. We're down to our final book. Okay. So December. Yeah. Now this is when we need that drum roll. The final.
Yeah.
So for December, we decided to pick something on the shorter side because of course everybody is busy during the holiday season. And we picked something, again, we do like to read seasonally here in the Cozy Reader Book Club. And so the title of mine, we're not reading the entire Christmas at Fairacre by Miss Reed. We are reading The Christmas Mouse, which is the edition that Rebecca is holding up there, but it is inside Christmas at Fairacre. So if you have Christmas at Fairacre, you will find The Christmas Mouse short story novella inside here. And this, if you receive the small home, or if you are getting the Small Home Comforts Christmas box, this is the book that's coming in there. So you'll have it all ready for next year. But you can certainly find it other places. There are lots and lots of used copies of misread books and new copies and Kindle and all that jazz. So, but this one was originally published in 1973. Like I said, it's a short story novella. I think it's more along the short story line. And it's set in Miss Reed's Fairacre world, but our understanding is you don't need to read this one in any particular order. So you don't need to have read Fairacre, any of the books or up to a certain point or anything like that to enjoy the Christmas Mouse. This is the story of Miss Barry. She lives with her widowed daughter and her 2 grandchildren. And on Christmas Eve, she is startled out of her room because there is a mouse in her room. And she then, I guess, heads out into the living area and she stumbles upon, or someone comes to the door who is a young boy. And these 2 events change her life. So we are going to follow along and find out what happens to Miss Barry on Christmas Eve when the Christmas Mouse appears. And that is all that I know and all I want to know. I'm just going to go in and enjoy it. Enjoy a little cozy holiday read next year.
That's the problem, is it's next year as I'm looking at this cute little mouse.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, it's, we're getting into like Christmas book. I'm
I
like,
know.
can I wait?
Right. Or do I read it and then do I reread it? Like I know,
right? It's not
holiday stories.
Yeah,
So,
it isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't. But there's actually quite a few misreads. I know our friend Michael is reading No Holly for Miss Quinn.
Mm-hmm. That's in here too.
I told him I think I'm going to try to read that with him. So if anybody's interested, let me know. We can all just get a little Instagram group together to read it. So I know I'm going to read that. So I think I'm going to have to save this, but man, it's quite tempting.
Yeah.
And you have
I guess
them all
it is
there.
more novella length. Like that's how long the Christmas Mouse is. So it's definitely novella
No
length.
Holly for Miss Quinn, I think is
shorter.
Very short.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
That's it.
That is the 2026 Cozy Reader Book Club lineup.
Yes. We are so excited.
We are very excited. So, I mean, we were excited for this year's titles too. So,
right. It's true.
Yes. And
it's hard to believe we've been doing this that we're going into our 3rd year.
Yes.
Right.
3rd year. Yes. So, and we're glad that you're all here and you want to be reading with us. So, does anyone have any? I know we're getting lots of comments, just that you guys are so excited. So glad that you're excited.
Debbie asked, is there a list somewhere? So yes, Debbie. So I think we're going to wait until tomorrow morning because it's later for me than even where Jen is. But we're going to on Instagram put the little graphic that has them all, and that'll be pinned on each of our profiles. And then we'll send out a Substack also tomorrow that has the graphic in it as well.
Yes. So you'll always be able to find that on the Substack as well. And I think maybe, Rebecca, I think we can also create like a little page for it, like we have for each of the prior years reading lists. We'll just make a reading list for 2026 now that it is out. I have there's a placeholder in there on Substack as well. Okay. So we'll put all the titles in there so that you can always refer back to Substack if you're looking for what the next month's book is.
Right. Right. So yes. Well, we're so excited that you guys are also excited. And we think it's going to be a great year of reading next year, even though this year is not done yet. We're meeting tomorrow. Actually, it's a full weekend of Cozy Reader Book Club. It is a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
Meeting tomorrow. I don't have my book. It's somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by books, but not the one that we're talking about tomorrow.
Right. Yes. Jacqueline was asking. So yes, if you go onto the Cozy Reader Book Club Substack page, up at the top, And it's only viewable on the website, so not on the mobile version. You can click on the prior year's reading list, so you can see 2025 and 2024. As of right now, 2026, I think just has a plate like says coming soon or something like that. But yes, so they will always be there for you guys to look back on if you're ever looking for a cozy book to read. We may have some caveats for 2024 books because we read some duds in 2024.
Don't read Princess Bride.
Don't read The Princess Bride. Don't read what was the
Pirouette.
Well, we didn't really like The Friendly Air by Noel Street film.
Yeah. Was it Pirouette?
Pirouette. Yeah. Don't read Pirouette.
Don't read Pirouette. That don't and especially not just watch the Princess Bride movie. Don't think the book might be better.
The book is way worse, and the movie took every good thing from the book.
It did.
We always put it in the movie, and that's all you need to know.
Right.
You do not need to read the book. If you want to read a book, read Carrie Elway's memoir about the Princess Bride movie. Way better than the Princess Bride book. Yes. Listen to it on audio.
My husband even listened to it. He loved it.
Yes.
I love it. Shell said, I can't do it. She said, off to buy a bunch of books.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's.
I know, right?
Yes.
That's what Rebecca and I did when we made it.
Yeah, we were like, oh, I've started collecting them. It is so fun.
I know. It is fun. So, but yes. Yeah. So tomorrow we are discussing the Stormy Petrel, or Stormy Petrel. Okay. So, and I'll talk about this tomorrow too, but one of my editions says Stormy Petrel. My old like mass market paperback says The Stormy Petrel. I don't know what the title of this book is.
Interesting.
Very confused.
I'm going to have to go check my copy.
Yeah.
I have the one that matches with my Thorny Hold, the older hardcover with the beautiful Scottish scene.
Yeah, I just ordered the new hotter. I have the hotter editions. I have them right over here of her books. I'm collecting them all. So I just ordered that because I bought this used copy and there's a bunch of typos in it. And I'm like, this is making me crazy.
Oh, that's annoying.
I can't handle it. And so my old mass market I love, but it's just hard on my eyes to read that small size anymore. So I've got to get the new. So I just ordered the new hotter book from Blackwell's, but
yeah, that's
anyway,
nice.
Yeah, so
sometimes too, the older paperbacks, especially like the trade paperbacks, the bindings are kind of tight, so you feel like you're gonna like really crack the spine by
I'm a spine cracker.
Yeah,
you should see the spine of my old one. I'll bring it tomorrow. I'll show you guys.
Okay, great.
And then for December, we are reading Murder at Northanger Abbey by Shannon Winslow. So if you want to join us for December's meeting, which I'm not sure what the date is of that yet, but whatever the third Saturday is, which I think is it's like
the 20th.
20th?
It's the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like right before
Christmas. But hopefully it'll be, a lovely little holiday get together. Put that on your calendar.
We can tell everyone, but you can bring punch and cookies and eat it on the
bring your Christmas, bring your holiday.
We do like to keep that third Saturday schedule because it just helps for everybody to remember it. So
yes. And that's we didn't talk about that at the beginning, but we have had some requests like, could we change up the day or time? And Rebecca and I have talked about it. We've talked about it a lot, actually. But one of the things that's important to both of us is to really make this feel like a book club. Like if you were going to get together with your friends in your living room, you would do that every month at the same time, basically. And we know that's hard because we have people who live in other countries and other parts of the world. And so the time difference is really a problem. And we're so sorry for that. Again, hopefully the Substack will also allow you to have bookish conversations with the group if you can't make it to the live discussion. And we don't record the lives because we want it to feel, again, like you're coming, like you were going to go to somebody's home and go to book club, and you wouldn't record that. You would just go and enjoy it. And then everybody can feel comfortable to talk and not feel like that's going to be replayed somewhere or posted onto the internet. So we want it to feel as cozy as can possibly be for everybody. But yes, so hopefully, that kind of helps you understand why we've done that. And also, I think it's just means easier for me to remember if every third Saturday is Cozy Reader Book Club, that I think just sticks in your mind. And then it can be like just part of your monthly routine, that this is an activity that you do every third Saturday. You come to Cozy Reader Book Club. So we hope that, we usually have pretty good turnout. So it seems to work for quite a few people. So we are just sticking with what we've been doing.
Right. And Debbie said it's 6 a.m. in Australia. I think it was Debbie that said that. So, I mean, yeah, Deborah. So you come in your PJs, don't turn on your camera, bring your
Absolutely.
coffee, you can do chat if you got morning voice, in whatever way that you can
Yes.
can join.
Right.
So yeah, it's it is one of those things where trying to figure out how to record, you have to get permission. And then again, there are people who are uncomfortable with that. So we just want to kind of keep that coziness there of like, we're just all sort of hanging out together.
Exactly. And we did do one special recording of one meeting this past year, because Simon, if you know Simon Thomas he is he works with the British Library Women Writers imprint, and we were reading Oh the Brave Music, which they republished, and he was unfortunately at the last minute couldn't make it and asked us if we'd record it so that he could see it. And so we did that, and we made it available just to the Cozy Reader Book Club members. Nobody else could see that recording, but that was our one exception that we've made. And there might be other times when we might make some strange exception, but for the most part, we just want it to feel like we're all gathered together and we spend that time together, and then we all go off back to our regular lives. So,
but feel free to go in Substack. There's a place where you can comment and, feel free to say like, I read the Stormy Petrel and, was wondering X, Y, and Z, or didn't like this, or really loved that, it is something that we do say at the beginning of our meetings is like, has everybody finished it? And if people haven't, we're like, wow, we might,
spoiler alert.
we're probably going to be sharing some spoilers here. Yes. You can feel free to kind of be honest and open in the comments.
Absolutely.
In Substack.
So yeah, in Substack, and please, we'll just try not to give spoilers before we have the discussion of the book, and then you can feel free to chat away on Substack and spoil whatever. We'll just assume if people go in there that they have read the book, or they don't care if they get things spoiled for them. So
right.
But yes,
which is what most people say if they haven't finished it. They're like, it's okay if
they came because they wanted to come to the discussion, and if it gets spoiled for them, then that's what happens. So you can still enjoy a book even if you know what's going to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So. And maybe in the case of this one, nothing is gonna happen. That's spoiled. It's fine. There's no stress and pressure, and then you can enjoy it.
Exactly, because I was feeling like, is something bad gonna happen in this book? Because it's just like they get so idyllic, and I was like, I don't know this author. I don't know what to expect, and you just can expect just a lovely holiday.
Right.
It's a great beach read.
Right.
So. All right.
Great.
Well, if there
thank you guys for spending your Friday or Saturday morning and Friday evening and whatever time with us. We appreciate
whichever
it.
time zone you're in.
Yes.
But yes, thank you all for coming, for being a part of the Cozy Reader Book Club, and we will see some of you tomorrow. I know at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is where I am, or whatever else.
6 a.m. in Australia.
6 a.m. in Australia. That's
I think for Maria, it's 7
p.m. in
7
the UK
p.m. in Ireland.
Yeah. So wherever you are, that's where we'll be at that time tomorrow. And if not, we will hopefully see you at another meeting. See you on Substack. See you online somewhere. Thank you guys so much for all your support of Book Club. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to another year of cozy reading.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.